society will never be able to forgive me. I know the families of the victims will never be able to forgive me for what I have done. Your Honor, it is over now.
If we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, we're talking about evil.
Lisa, when you find out what I did, you're going to want to kill me.
This man killed 15 people, 8 parts of their body.
I consider myself a survivor.
He's one of the great monsters of our time.
I loved Jeff because he was our son.
This gave it horrific dimensions that went beyond the typical serial slayer.
Crazy, sick.
Definition of evil.
He was more normal than we want to think he was.
And I thought that I'd just try to live as normally as possible and just bury it. But things like that don't stay buried forever.
Hey guys, welcome back to Nicole's View. So last night I was bored and I'm like, I just watched something mindless on TV, right? Flipping through the channels, nothing really caught my attention. And then I came across the Oxygen channel, all right? So for those of you who know the Oxygen channel, they always have like the murder stories and Snapped and all that. So they put together this special on this monster, Jeffrey Dahmer, okay, who we know he killed over 17 men, like 10 or 12 of them were black men. We all know the story, how this sicko from Milwaukee was stalking, looking for any male attention, and just there's nothing to, in my mind, to explain this away. And in this special, you know, they linked it to mental illness because, you know, his mom apparently was mentally ill, and at the time while she was pregnant with Jeffrey Dahmer, she was taking medication as well. So they felt like with her being mentally ill and the mother was on meds, it was just like this combination of just, I guess, birthing a devil basically. And apparently, like, after he was born, the mother never touched him, had any type of connection with him. The only time she touched him, if she was like, they said, changing his diaper or, you know, taking him a bath or anything like that. So I'm just sitting up here like, okay. And you can just see where this is going, all right? So there seems to be some type of disgusting, sick, just Neanderthal movement to paint this demented, sick, he's lower than an animal. I don't even want to call him an animal, okay? To paint this thing as someone to have sympathy for. And guess who's doing the majority of this? His people. So, of course, that is no shock. But I'm sitting up here saying to myself, this sick okay? Not only did he kill his victims, he chopped their bodies up, had sex with them, and ate them. How? I mean, just sit and think about what this did, okay? Just think about that. Had their body parts in all over his apartment. And then one of his neighbors, which was a black woman, and she's sitting up there saying, I don't even know who this Jeffrey Dahmer person is, because that's just not the Jeffrey I knew. And, you know, my ex-husband, we always tried to hook him up with women, and he just wasn't interested. I'm like, yeah, he definitely wasn't. That's for sure. And I'm sitting up here like, wow. And then they're interviewing the stepmother. And the stepmother, okay? I mean, she's sitting up here just, oh, we're not angry at him. And, you know, deep down inside, there was like a good person in him. And I'm just sitting up here saying, me and Alan, we're sitting up here watching this crap like, are you freaking kidding me right now? The Oxygen Network actually did a special like this I swear to you, if you watched it, you saw what they were doing. I mean, it was so obvious. It was so stomach turning. I literally had to end up just walking away from it. At the same time, I was just engulfed in it, but turned off too at the same time. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And then I know there was supposed to be a movie made about him, talking about, I think his name, My Friend Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, this is pure insanity. Pure insanity. That this is allowed. That these devils just are sick. Sick. Just like Dahmer. And during the special, they talked about Christopher Scarver, the man who bludgeoned this it to death back in 1994. And all I have to say is this. Bravo. They should have released him, I say, but unfortunately, he had to serve time for a murder he committed. But, a murder here compared to 17, yeah, I know, but come on. This it ate human, oh my God, human beings. Okay? You can't tell me anything else about this. I just, like I said, I was sitting there and I'm just like, wait a minute. As this went along, you just saw what they were doing. Okay? This sympathy for this evil, demonic it. I can't even call him an animal. He's like an it. It's just, it's insane. And for those of you who sat and watched it, definitely let me know what you thought, because that's exactly what me and Alan thought. We sat up here, we were like, just wow. White people, they will explain this shit away and say, it's mental illness. I don't even think this shit is mental illness. This is just unexplainable here. Okay, I can't with it. I can't with the BS. And there was this article I had ran across on Vice. It's a long article, but there was something in here. I'll post it in the description box as well for those who want to read it. It's pretty lengthy. But there was some points in here that I wanted to talk about. And the title of the article is called, "Why Do So Many People Sympathize with Serial Killer Jeffrey Dahmer?" And I can answer that right off the bat. First off, white privilege, okay? Secondly, when you sit down and you listen to Jeffrey Dahmer, okay, like I was doing last night, he talks about just how, how he grew up and how he was so lonely and he just needed a friend. And then, of course, as we all know, as a kid, he would find animals and, kill them and mutilate them and all this kind of just sick, twisted stuff, right? So then you have that factor. Oh man, he was lonely. He didn't have any friends. Blah, 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 blah. There are millions upon millions of lonely people in this world. They don't go around killing people, chopping them up, and eating them. Okay? I'm just not buying that. All right. And so let me see. It was a paragraph that I wanted to read. Okay, it says, "Good, honest, God-fearing citizens feeling empathy for serial killers is nothing particularly new," which is true. We're all human. We all want to understand why people do the things they do. But when it comes to Jeffrey Dahmer, who was sentenced to 15 life terms 25 years ago yesterday, there seems to be an unusual climate of compassion. Jeffrey Dahmer killed at least 17 young men between 1978 and 1991. Many of these men were African American or Hispanic, and most were picked up in or around gay bars. Once he got them alone or to his home, Dahmer would usually drug his victims. Once they became unconscious, strangle them. He would dismember them, okay, and eat them, like I just said. But still, Dahmer is sometimes framed and viewed as a sympathetic character, not just by the fans who dedicate entire blogs to the serial killer, but by many others, including crime writers, lawyers, psychologists, and doctors. Comments below documentaries on Dahmer often ask the question, does anyone else feel sorry for him? And bizarrely, the answer in many cases is yes. But why? I think it's easier to romanticize him because he genuinely wanted love and closeness. Okay, so that right there alone lets you know this is some twisted, sick Neanderthal, loving, animalistic. I can't even wrap my mind around this. Now, if Jeffrey Dahmer, okay, was Jeffrey Johnson, you think people would have this sympathy factor? Really? I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, if the roles were reversed, there would be no sympathy leaning programs like this, okay? This is the ultimate white privilege, sick, demonic nature of these people. There is nothing sympathetic about this it who killed many gay black men. There's nothing sympathetic about it. Yes, we can argue all day long. Why the hell would you hook up with somebody you don't know? Hell, it happens to all of us. Some of you go out on dates, you don't know it's a blind date, you don't know. Same thing happened with these men. They didn't deserve to be cut up into teeny tiny pieces and eaten like a piece of chicken. But I just had to speak on this because I just thought it was disturbing on every single level. And I will always say, God bless you, Christopher Scarver. I know he's still in prison. I think he was trying to do some poems or write some things and all that about his life. But anyway, I still give major props to him. He did a good thing. Jeffrey Dahmer is burning in the pits of hell, and that's how it should be. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? Let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.